Ed Cherry.
Hello.
Thank you so much for
Hello?
doing this with me. First of all, you've been a long-time guitar hero of mine and a friend, so I appreciate it. You know.
Thanks for asking me. Thanks for asking me.
No, it's an honor, man. Seriously. So, a couple of questions. First, what inspired you first to play the guitar?
Well, let's see. Guitar actually wasn't my first instrument. I was a clarinetist
Oh, really?
in a school band from about third grade till about seventh grade.
Yeah.
But I started to see, during that time, there were a lot of rock bands on television. You know,
Yeah.
the Beatles and the Rolling Stones
Yeah,
and Jimi
yeah.
Hendrix once in a while, and then B.B. King. They would all be playing the guitar, and the girls would be going crazy. And I said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, kind of a similar story.
You know, the guitar, you know, was sexy to me, you
Yeah.
know, back then. So I said, yeah, let me try that. So I put the clarinet away. You know, I actually thought I wanted to be a saxophonist.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. But I put that away, and I asked my parents for a guitar for Christmas. I think I was 6th or 7th grade, and I got it. Santa Claus brought it, and yeah, I just couldn't put it down. So, you know, what inspired me to become a guitarist was, you know, just it was a popular instrument of the day. You know, 60s,
Yeah.
late 60s, late 60s. And, you know, everybody was playing the guitar. Folk music was big. My dad tried to play guitar, you know,
Yeah.
folk music, Bob Dylan kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he also liked jazz guitar. So there were a lot of jazz guitar records being played in the house. So I knew who Grant Green and Wes Montgomery and Kenny Burrell was
Yeah.
even before I started playing the guitar.
Oh, cool.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, there was that connection as well.
Yeah.
And so it was music, the household music was jazz, primarily jazz guitar and Charlie Parker. And, but I was listening to Jimi Hendrix and,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and James Brown
That's
and
so
all
cool.
that
Were
kind of
were your
stuff.
parents musical at all?
My mom played very little piano. My dad tried to play the guitar, and he still has his original Mel Bay Book 1
Oh, yeah.
at his house, you know.
Cool. Yeah.
And he's still trying to get through the first 10 pages, you know. Still,
Oh, man.
you know.
At first, you
So-
don't succeed. Yeah.
So that's it. That's
Oh, that's
how I
so cool.
started to play.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of have a similar story. I actually I started on clarinet. Well, I started on piano when I was like, you know, maybe 5, and I was
Yeah.
pretty decent at piano. Then I played clarinet. I remember in middle school,
Yeah.
but I was terrible. I was
I
hard.
liked it.
I was so bad.
I liked it.
And I don't know why. I just
My mom tried to make me
Yeah.
take piano lessons, and I hated piano. For some reason, I just couldn't
Wasn't your thing.
connect with the piano. You know, she made me take these, and maybe because she made me do
That's probably it.
it,
Yeah.
it turned me off a little bit
Yeah, it's
towards
funny.
the piano.
That's one
you
thing
know.
that I really feel, you know, I really feel lucky that my dad didn't really, because he's a guitar player too, actually. You know, he's more of kind of a folky but
Yeah.
songwriter, but he never really forced the guitar on me. He,
Yeah.
you know, he always really supported me if I wanted to play, but I kind of picked it up on my own. And I
Yeah.
think if it had been forced upon me, but yeah, I mean, I remember when I was like 12 years old and like, you know, all the cool kids were bringing guitars to
Yeah.
school and
Yeah.
like, you know, like they definitely the girls liked them way more
Yeah.
than me. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah, oh, yeah. We were left out.
so yeah, man, that's cool. So also, is there? I wanted to ask, is there anything kind of that you're currently working on? You know, now.
Well, I was discussing this with my wife, who plays violin, and
Cool.
we were talking about trying to do a string trio
Wow.
with you know, guitar, bass, drums.
Yeah.
And just playing the tunes that is currently in my repertoire, but coming up with a string trio version.
Yeah.
You know, viola, violin, and cello. You know.
Yeah.
And So we're going to start working on that kind of stuff soon. I haven't really been writing too much. I'm very slow with writing music.
Yeah.
But I like to, maybe rearrange tunes,
Yeah.
like classic jazz tunes, or maybe tunes that aren't so popular, jazz tunes, standards, I'd like to maybe play a fast tune, slow tune, fast, play something bossa nova that's really a swing, and just kind of turn it around that way. I like doing that.
Yeah, no, I mean I love the combination.
But with the strings, I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I've never really done that before, until now. Lately, I've been thinking
it's interesting because it's
that.
such a classic sound, but no one really does it now.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously all those Bird with Strings, recordings are amazing. And,
so I was thinking of trying to get that together, fairly soon, and maybe the next little local gig I have, Smalls or something like that, have string.
Oh, cool!
Because you don't see that
yeah,
much.
Absolutely,
and it's a nice
man.
sound,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, all the timbres work really nice. Yeah.
So.
Also, I know you were on the road with Dizzy Gillespie for many, many years. What was? I mean, I know it's probably. You can't really answer this in 5 minutes, but what was that like?
Oh, it was a great experience. Dizzy was a normal guy. He had a sense of humor. Wasn't like a joke telling sense of humor, but he had a humorous outlook on life. Make comments about whatever situation. He was a lot of fun to be around. He was very personable, nice to everyone. He was a good role model,
Great,
Not only just he was one of the founding fathers of bebop and all of that. That's everybody knows that story. But for a young guy on the road, he was a good role model, as I said. He was very nice, and he didn't really speak ill of anyone.
Yeah.
And he was kind to a world statesman as well as the cleaning lady. Oh,
that's cool. Yeah.
So that was a good thing to see. When I joined the band, I think I was like 23.
Oh wow.
So I'd never been out of New Haven, really. I mean, I've been to New York, but I'd never traveled. I'd never really been on an airplane, until I got with Dizzy,
Yeah.
And it was a great experience in that way.
Oh, cool. That's so cool.
So he was a positive role model.
Yeah, and one last question. What was growing up in New Haven like? For those of you who don't know, recently discovered that actually my uncle went to school with Ed way back in the day in New Haven.
I think junior high school or high school.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Tell him I said, hey.
I will do, yeah.
New Haven. Yeah, so when I started playing the guitar, I immediately found guys in my neighborhood to play. So there were many musicians to play with.
Cool.
And then when I started getting into jazz, I found the local older guys to go jam with,
Yeah.
And New Haven had a lot of spots where the older cats would play and they would let the younger guys sit in. And I became friends with many of them, and I ended up doing gigs with them. I mean, I couldn't really play, but they heard something, and they let me play. They let me sit in and do gigs, and it was fun. It was a good experience. There was two brothers from Chicago, Bobby and Eddie Buster, and they played organ, Hammond B3 organ, and they moved to New Haven from Chicago. They brought their families from that environment to the slower pace New Haven, and they had played with Sonny Stitt and Gene Ammons and people like that, but they left all of that to come to New Haven. But they started a scene,
Cool.
And then there were younger guys who were going to Yale who also started like another scene, with the new music, like
Yeah.
kind of avant scene and
Yeah.
and Mark Elias and Fiona Clough and bass player Wes Brown and many of the younger people who became kind of famous in their older age.
Cool.
So there was a lot of music in New Haven to be a part of it.
Cool. And last question: Sally's or Pepe's?
The Spot. Either one. They're both good. They're both good. They're both good. I think the last time I had pizza, I went to Pepe's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
I was coming home. I was living in Harlem at the time, and I was coming home on the subway from a train. I got off at like 116th and Lenox Avenue to walk to my apartment. And it's about 3 a.m, and I walk, and I see a Pepe's box laying on the street on Lenox Avenue and like 118th Street. I said, "What is that box doing, doing here?" New Haven Pizza. New Haven Pizza on the street in Lenox Avenue.
Oh man,
but anyway,
that's funny.
yeah.
That's
So
great. Cool. Well, Ed, thank you so much for doing this. It's
Thank
an
you.
absolute honor having you, man.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.